work for the Live Oak Public Library, and I am in charge of our adult craft program. June's Craft allows us to make 4 different variants of bookmarks. The first bookmark we are going to be making today are these button bookmarks, and the supplies you are going to need for this are a paper clip. You can either do colored or silver, or you can do these smaller variants of paper clips. They're really tiny, so you'd have to use smaller buttons. You're going to need some colorful, cute buttons that you like, and then you're going to need a hot glue gun and glue. So this bookmark is the easiest bookmark we're going to be making today. All you're going to need to do is you're going to put some hot glue on the back of your button. And then you're going to stick your paper clip onto the hot glue. And you're going to set it off to the side to dry. And I'm just going to do a couple more of these, so I have a few different ones to show you. All right, so I went ahead and made 4 of these. I will say make sure that when you are gluing them on, to make sure that the loop of the inside of the paper clip is facing down, so that when you go to put it in your book to use as a bookmark, it just slides right on with absolutely no problem. And then you've got yourself paper clip button bookmarks. All right, our second bookmark of the day is going to be these book page bookmarks. And we are going to be using some pages from a book, some craft jute, a black marker or a black fine tip Sharpie marker pen, some scissors, a hole punch, and some standard glue stick. The first step is to go ahead and grab a stack of pages from any book. We used one of our books here that was falling apart, so we just repurposed it to use book pages for different crafts. So there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can either do it 1 page thick and then laminate it if you have that capability, or you can just glue multiple pages together, which is what I'm going to be doing today to make it thicker and more sturdy, so it'll hold up a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take our glue stick and I'm going to just glue all over this page, and it's okay if it's not perfectly done. You're going to cut out the shape of a bookmark out of this anyway. So, and I'm just going to stick another page on top of it, and this is simply just to make it thicker so that it holds up a little bit better. And I'm going to do this until I think it's thick enough, which is probably going to be about 4 or 5 pages. All right, so once it's dry, our next step is going to simply be to cut out a long rectangle out of the middle in a similar shape of how you want your bookmark. You can do other shapes. You could do any shape you want. I'm just going to stick to the traditional bookmark shape. All right, so I went ahead and cut out my shape, and I made sure that all of the sides were glued down and not coming apart. So now my next step is going to be to go ahead and I'm going to hole punch the top. I have a 1 hole punch right here, so I'm just going to go in the center and poke a little hole. So I'm going to take some craft jute, and you can use any kind of material for this. I just personally like the way that this looks. And I'm going to feed it through the hole that I made. And then pull these strings through the top so that I have it looking like this. And I'm just going to cut it to make it even. So I'm just going to go ahead and decorate it now, and I'm going to be using black, but you can use any color you want. I'm just going to make some designs on it, kind of make it just look really neat, similar to the picture. You can do more or less drawing than what's on the pictures, make it unique, just kind of decorate it. And this one is simply just kind of drawing on different basic designs, outlining it, and just customizing it to how you like it. Okay, I went ahead and finished it off, and I used black markers and some colorful paint pens just to add a little bit of something to it. So this is one side, and then this is the other side. I went ahead and just drew a flower like it was in the picture. So this is my book page bookmark. And you can still see that it's a book page even through the colors and the stripes. So you can definitely tell what it is, and I think it's really cute, and I like it. Okay, so our next bookmark is just a basic cardstock bookmark with a tassel on it. You can use anything you want to decorate this. You can go in with markers and pens again. You can use stamps. You can leave it blank. You can even do paint, just whatever you want. I'm going to stick today with cardstock, some markers, maybe use a stamp in there, and then the yarn, of course, for the tassel, as well as a hole punch for the hole at the top. And you're all good to go. All right, so our first step is going to be just to cut out the bookmark shape that we want. Yet again, you can do any shape that you want. I'm just going to stick with the rectangle. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started in decorating this. Okay, so I went ahead and decorated this one, and I did this one really colorfully. I did a dotted side, and then I did this wacky little uneven triangle side. So our next step is going to be to go ahead and add our tassel. So I'm going to take the hole punch and right in the middle up there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get a whole bunch of yarn. I'm just going to wrap it around my hand like this to make the tassel. All right, I went ahead and cut a pretty lengthy piece of yarn for the tassel. So I'm just going to begin by wrapping it around my hand in circles like this. And I didn't want to make this one too thick since it's such a small object. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to pull it off my hand, and I should have this circle right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one side, and we are just going to cut it like that. So now I should have yarn like this. I have a second piece of yarn that I cut right here, and I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to tie it around the middle of this yarn right here. And I'm going to double knot it just to make sure that it's nice and tight. And I just want to make sure that it's as centered as I can get it. And then I'm going to pull all of this short yarn down like this. Then we're going to take a third piece of yarn, and I'm just going to wrap it a little bit down so to make the tassel, and I'm just going to loop that a few times through there. And then tie it off as well. So now you should have something like this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to snip this off. And we're going to cut this shorter. I'm going to keep this on there, and I'm going to put this through the hole on our bookmark. And we're going to tie it around. And again, I'm going to double knot it to make sure that it's on there nice and tight. Okay, and I did leave a little bit of space right there so where it's not flush up against the bookmark, and it actually does dangle a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim off these side pieces. And then looking at your tassel, you can either leave it to where some pieces are longer than the other, but I'm going to make sure that they are all the same length. So I'm going to pull it tight and then trim off just the edges to make them more uniform. And then there you have your tassel bookmark. All right, our fourth bookmark is going to be this fox bookmark right here. And all you are going to need for this is some orange square paper. I'm using origami paper, some white cardstock, a glue stick, and some googly eyes. All right, so our first step for this one is to take our orange square origami paper, and we are going to fold the triangles in like that. And then we're going to unfold it and do it the other way. So now we've got our square, and it's got these creases in it. So we're going to take this one corner and we're going to fold it into the center. And then we're going to fold it in the middle again, like that. So now we're going to take these sides and fold them down into the center to where they meet at the very bottom corner. So now it should look like this. And then we are going to take this and then fold it backwards to where the edge is off of the corner. Like so. So this next step is we're going to want to bend this to where it is straight across. So this will be behind. So it's straight across, and now it pokes up on the opposite side. And then I'm just going to do that again on this side. So now we have our fox face. I'm going to go ahead and just make this piece as long as his little chin is. And then I'm going to cut that in half. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just cutting a little half circle like that. And I'm going to go ahead and do it from this piece as well. So now I'm just going to go ahead and push those to the side. And I'm going to want to make the parts of his ear. I'm just going to very carefully measure about the size that I need. And yet again, make those even. And now that we have these pieces, we are going to take our glue stick yet again, and we are going to glue them onto the fox's face. And I'm going to stick it on right there. And mine goes over a little bit, which is absolutely fine. It can go right to, or it can go over however you want your fox to look. I just like the idea of mine having a little longer mustache. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue on Okay, and the final step is going to either be to draw or glue on some eyes, and I'm going to be using some googly eyes today, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue those on where I want them. And then I'm going to take a little marker and make the very tip of his little nose black. And that is going to slide right onto the page using this little flap inside, just like so. All right, and that is it for today. We made 4 different bookmarks: the button paperclip, the book page, the cardstock, and our little foldable fox here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to look out for more from Suwannee River Regional Library in the future.